In this explainer, we're going to deconstruct the research abstract. This is a really important skill for university, and learning it will help you handle your readings much more efficiently. Here's our plan for today. We'll start with what a research abstract actually is. Then we'll look at the introduction, the methods, the findings and their meaning, and finally, we'll give you a simple toolkit to help you read any abstract. So, let's get started. What exactly is a research abstract, and why is it so important for you as a student? Well, an abstract is basically a short summary of a research article. The best way to think of it is like a movie trailer for a paper. It gives you all the main points in one short paragraph, so you can quickly decide if you want to read the whole thing. It's a huge time saver. Now, the good news is that most abstracts follow a very consistent structure. It's called IMRAD, and that stands for Introduction, Methods, Results, and Discussion. We're going to use this IMRAD structure like a map to guide us through an example. Let's start with the I in IMRAD, the introduction. This part is all about setting the scene. It answers the big question: why did the researchers even do this study? Okay, let's look at the first sentence from our example. It starts by telling us what other studies have already found. It says that in the past, research showed adolescent girls used more indirect aggression, while boys used more physical aggression. This is the background information we need. You see, this sentence is doing a very specific job. It's part of the introduction, and its function is to give us the background and context for the study. It's setting the stage for what's to come. Now, after giving us that background, the abstract tells us exactly what this particular study is about. It's pointing out something that we don't know yet from previous research. This sentence is also part of the introduction, but it has a different function. It states the specific research purpose or question. So it asks, does the pattern of aggression from the teenage years change when people become adults? This is the central question the study wants to answer. Next up is the M in IMRAD, methods. This section is the research plan. It answers the question, how did the researchers actually do the study? Here, the abstract gets very specific. It tells us who participated in the study, 333 university employees. And it tells us what tool they used to collect their information, which was a specific survey. This part is all about the facts of how the study was conducted. You can think of the methods section as a kind of recipe. It gives you the step-by-step process. First, who were the participants? 333 university employees. Second, what tool did they use? A survey called the Work Harassment Scale. And third, what was the focus? They looked closely at two specific types of aggression. All right, now we get to the really interesting parts, the R&D and IMRAD, results and discussion. This is where we learn what the researchers found and, just as importantly, what it all means. This sentence is the results. It gives us the main findings in a very direct way. It says, males used one type of aggression more often, and females used another type more often. It's simply presenting the facts of what the data showed. To make that even clearer, you can see the comparison right here. Males used more of what's called rational appearing aggression. Females, on the other hand, used more social manipulation. The key thing to notice is that the study found a clear difference between the two groups. So, what do those terms actually mean? Well, the last sentence of the abstract explains it. It tells us that both of these behaviors are types of covert aggression, which means the person being aggressive is trying to hide what they're doing. This is where we start to understand the meaning behind the results. And that brings us to the discussion part. The function here is to interpret the results and tell us why they matter. So by explaining this idea of covert aggression, the abstract helps us understand the significance of the findings. So we've broken down one abstract. Now, let's pull all that information together into a simple toolkit that you can use for any abstract you come across in your studies. This table is your toolkit. It's super simple. When you read an abstract, just ask these 4 questions. For the introduction, ask why. For the methods, ask how. For the results, ask what. And for the discussion, ask so what, as in, what does it all mean? To finish up, let's go over the key takeaways. First, an abstract is just a short summary. Second, it usually follows that IMRAD structure we talked about. Third, each part of that structure answers a specific question. And finally, if you understand this, you're going to read academic articles much faster and with better understanding.